Hello, my name is Creepy. Did I scare you? It was a trick. My mommy was a creepy crawler's thing maker oven. I tell the most creepy stories in the world. Be careful if you read my stories, because they will scare you forever. The Day of All the Blood. This is the story of a day where there was all this blood. A man was walking around and blood started coming out of him everywhere. He tried to go swimming and all of the sharks went crazy. He got chased by all the vampires. When he went to the store, people were slipping in all the blood and they looked at it and they threw up. One time the blood got a kid and a dog. At the end of the day, everyone decided they would send him to space forever. The scariest part is that the man was you. Or he was a lady if you were a lady. And you forgot that this happened. The giant gorilla on fire. One time there were all these cool guys standing around with their hands in their pockets and their big zippers, looking around with their rad specs and not being careful. Just then a bus pulled up, and it was the blackest, most evil bus the cool guys had ever seen, and they had seen some really evil buses in their time on the streets. The bus opened its black, evil door, and a giant gorilla on fire stepped out of it. He was punching all the cool guys with his big gorilla fists that were on fire at the same time. The cool guys got punched and burned real bad, but the different guy was okay. Let this be a lesson to everyone who thinks they're too cool to even be careful. The ugliest monster. One time there were all these bad ladies around. Then one day this awesome dude came up to them and told them to marry him. He was so awesome with his rad specs and dinosaurs skateboard that they all married him. But then he got his rad specs knocked off, and they found out he was the ugliest monster ever. More uglier than an old brown shoe with rotten throw-up all over it and a part of a frog inside. All of the ladies had to live with him in a gross house, and they had ugly babies forever. All of the firefighters disappear. One day every firefighter in the world disappeared. Where did they go? Nobody knows. Without any firefighters, every house gets on fire and no one can do anything about it. Everyone on Earth is homeless and has to rent a bad hotel. Even the president. Secret twist. The hotel did it. The headless alligators get everyone. This is a story where everyone thinks there's no such thing as headless alligators. But one day someone opened a door in an old house and the headless alligators came out for real. They went around and they attacked so many people that there was almost nobody left. The survivors built a fort on a mountain protected by the longest moat, but the headless alligators were out there waiting and food was running low. The people tried to make a plane that could save them, but in the end it turned out that the pilot was a headless alligator the whole time. Also, he did not know how to fly a plane. Bad guys underwater. One day there was a couple of scuba divers who saw a sign that said no scuba diving, and they had such poor parentage that they didn't even look at it. Just when they were having a good time scuba diving, they found the secret place that makes all of the bad guys. When they saw the bad guys coming out of it and looking around, they got so afraid that they never scuba dived again. However, years later, some of the bad guys found them and broke some of their things. The dead skull. I bet you think that all of these stories are pretend. But guess what? This one is for real. How do I know? Well, I know because I am looking at you and I know all of your secrets. I even know your favorite animal. One day I looked at you in the bathroom. Maybe I will break something and tell everybody it was you. There's nothing you can do to stop me. But guess what? I'm a dead skull! The killer spikes. One day you'll get a weird big letter that says it is from you. It will be a little wet and have a stamp of the blackest, most grossest, headless evil dog you ever saw. If you open the letter, you will discover that you have been mailed spikes, and you will die on the spikes. However, if you post this in 4 message boards, the letter will not have spikes in it, but it will have some alright fudge and a brown ribbon you can put on something. Raining demons. One day a scientist made a machine that he thought will turn rain into the cure for all germs, but something went terribly wrong. Instead, the rain turned into demons. Demons were falling out of the sky, and they were defeating everyone in the world with their fully leveled swords. Even the biggest, most powerful bear was defeated. You were the frogs. Warning spoiler title. One day you woke up and there was like this frog on you. You were all startled and said, "What?" as you gently put the frog outside in horror. Then you turned around and there was another frog like sitting on a box in your house. Then you noticed that there was a frog on the TV and on the fridge and one in each of your shoes, and one was even, warning not safe for work, in the bathroom on the toilet seat. You ran all around horrified and screaming and putting them outside where they belong, when finally you look in the mirror and realize that these frogs were you, and now you are completely locked out of your house. Worst, most bloody horror day in the world. This is the story of the worst, most bloody horror day in the world. 2 kids found it and they never got out alive. All day long they were getting stabbed by guys like in Scream. All of the Scream guys were coming out of cabinets and rolling around, stabbing the kids. They tried to call the police, but the police were Scream guys too. Then they opened up a box that they think would have sandwiches in it, but there's so many Scream guys coming out of it that the 2 kids drowned in all the knives. They were so stabbed that there was not even dust left of these kids. Double hell. One day some bad kids who did not listen in church got some tarot cards and a Ouija board. They played with the cards all over the board while using the board at the same time, and Double Satan came out and killed them with his energy kick attack. The bad kids had to go to double hell, where they had nothing to eat but pizza with some dirt on it, and they could only watch the scariest, most horrible R-rated movies, and the only cat they were allowed to have did not like being petted, and they even had to touch lady boobs all day. They were so grossed out and scared that they wanted to go home, but guess what? You can never go home from double hell. 2 bears forever. If you do not copy this text to 8.5 people, there will be 2 bears every time you open a door, forever. Ha 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 ha! Did you get scared of my stories? Well, guess what? They are only pretend. Or maybe they are not. I hope you had a scary good time and you will come back and read the ones you liked all over again.